Hi folks, Dan Toomey here. As an influential figure in media, I find it important to give back to the community. It's great for my image. That's why I am a proud volunteer of the Wealthy Boys and Girls Club of America, a wonderful for-profit institution dedicated to the fulfillment and growth of kids belonging to the 1%. Through WBGCA, I work mostly with children who have been neglected by parents working demanding white-collar jobs, from lawyers to project managers all the way to Bill Ackman. And it was at our Greenwich, Connecticut location where I first met with Ilana Sinclair, a 9-year-old girl with a credit score of 870. For school, she had to make a presentation about what her daddy does for work. Now, Alana's father is a prominent hedge fund manager, so of course, his explanation left her very confused. That's when she asked me to help her finish the project. Of course, being the selfless and influential figure I am, I obliged. Now, I'll be honest, folks, I didn't expect to be so proud of how this thing turned out. But we worked hard on it, so I asked Alana if I could share her presentation with you all right here on this YouTube channel. So without further ado, here it is.
Hello, my name is Alana Sinclair. I'm 9 years old and my daddy is a hedge fund manager. My daddy has been working at his hedge fund for 18 years. He said he almost had enough money to retire and finally work on his handicap. But then, Mommy wanted to live in a different house from him, and now he has to work forever and ever like a mule, and why couldn't Mommy just shut up and be depressed like a grown adult? Then he said, Alana, don't write that down. Daddy works really hard at the hedge fund, so sometimes I don't see him for a long time. That's when I call Uber and go to Mommy's new house. I miss my dad, but I also like staying at Mommy's new house because there's a big pool and Hummer go-karts that use real gasoline, and Mommy's friend Jackson, who plays games with me when Jackson and Mommy aren't having alone time. According to Investopedia.com, a hedge fund is a pool of money that is invested in stocks and other assets, and hedge funds are generally more aggressive, riskier, and more exclusive than mutual funds. My dad says mutual funds are for poor people, but hedge funds are where really rich people in places like public pensions and famous colleges put all of their money into a big money pile. And that's where my daddy comes in. Daddy's job is to come up with different bets that he makes with the money pile to try and grow it bigger. Daddy says that the point of hedge funds is to be so smart at betting that they'll never lose money on their bets. Or at least that's what the hedge fund tells the rich people whose money they need for the pile. Daddy says that the way the world actually works is no matter how smart you are, eventually you'll always lose. Then he took a big drink of daddy juice and went back to watching Billions. Hedge funds have a really interesting history. The first modern hedge fund was built by Alfred Winslow Jones in the 50s and 60s, and many of his ideas are still in use today. For example, he kept the number of investors in his fund small and made sure that they were all rich and fancy investors. That way, the government doesn't really care what kind of freaky shit your fund gets up to, because technically, regulators' job is to protect everyday investors, as opposed to the wealthiest members of society and institutions, who are referred to as accredited investors. But I don't need to get too in the weeds with you guys. Alfred had other good ideas too. He kept his own money in his hedge fund so that his incentives were aligned with his investors. He set up a great way of making money for himself, where he took a small fee of all the money he managed and a bigger fee of the profits he made. And maybe most importantly, he figured out a way to take a lot of the risk out of his bets. He bet on good companies to do well in the long term, while at the same time betting on bad companies to do badly in the short term. This is called a long-short strategy, and it's still used by many hedge funds today. Yeah, Alfred Winslow Jones was one cool guy. Fun fact, he got drunk with Ernest Hemingway and Dorothy Parker while honeymooning on the front lines of the Spanish Civil War. And that was before he came back to America and invented the hedge fund. Neat! I'll level with you. I wish my daddy was Alfred Winslow Jones. But still, I think my daddy's pretty cool because he works at a hedge fund. And hedge funds are a really big deal. The hedge fund industry now manages over $4.3 trillion, double what it was just 15 years ago. In conclusion, I'm so proud of my daddy. I asked him if he's proud of his job at the hedge fund. He asked me if Jackson was still hanging out at Mommy's new house. I said I didn't know. He asked me what Jackson did for work. I said I think he teaches at Barry's boot camp. Then he got all quiet and said his hedge fund used to be cooler and simpler back in the day. Now everything's getting all complicated. It's basically just a bunch of computers and skinny Chinese nerds from MIT who have no idea how to spend their bonuses. My daddy guesses he's proud of himself too, because at this point, he has nothing else to live for. Except for me. Thank you very much. And while I still have you, I would like to get out in front of any accusations of plagiarism. 100% of this presentation was written by me, Ilana, Montauk, Sinclair. I did not have any help. Okay, bye.
Here at the Wealthy Boys and Girls Club of America, we believe our future will be shaped by the children. The rich children, which is why we invest so much in mentoring them. For example, our state-of-the-art campground in Connecticut, which is a perfect replica of Duke University. Here, affluent youths from all across the Northeast get the chance to connect with their very own mentor and engage in the kind of fun summer activities that they'll need to know about when they become rich adults, like hydrofoiling, forwarding speeding tickets to their family accountant, and Molly. So donate today, whether it's $1 million or more than that. Every comma counts.